What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dgotsauce, and I'm back with another video, man. Today we got this video about Michael Rainey, power star, being sexually assaulted on a Twitch live stream. Let's tune into the video and see what's going on out here in these streets.
And thank you for staying up late with us. We have a great program planned for you and some great guests tonight here on The Factor Uncensored. Let's get right down to business. This is an important reminder tonight. Men can also be victims of sexual assault, in case you didn't know. An actor says he's still processing what happened to him after a woman grabbed him inappropriately on a live stream. This happened Sunday on a Twitch live stream for an influencer named Ty Jones. Actor Michael Rainey Jr., who is from Power, can be seen in the background when a woman who has been identified as James' sister walks up to him and appears to grab him by the private area. You can see it on Rainey's face. He looked very uncomfortable by the encounter. Today, he released a statement saying,
now these chicks out here in these streets is doing some wild behavior. Wild behavior. Y'all gotta be kidding me, man. Y'all gotta be kidding me. On live Twitch, you walk in like that? What you thought you thought you was untouchable? Y'all gotta do better, man. Let's continue.
He's in shock and that, quote, sexual assault is never okay regardless of gender or status. We're all human and we should respect each other. Most importantly, we should respect ourselves. Joining us to talk about it, trauma therapist Chow Win. So, Chow, when you took a look at that video, what went through your mind?
Well, the reaction on his face, the disbelief and the freezing, that's considered a trauma response. We either fight, flight, freeze, we fawn, and it looked like he was freezing. He didn't know what to do. He was touched inappropriately. That is sexual violence. And men are victimized by sexual violence as well. 1 in 4, they say, in their lifetime. It's a spectrum. It can be anything from touching to penetration.
And so how do you make the public and people in general take that seriously? Because you think of a male, you should be able to handle it. You should be able to walk away or confront the person and say, don't do it again. But there should be
recourse. There should be accountability. Look.
Yeah, she's violating. She's violating. It's as if she did this before. She did it so comfortably. What is going on here? Bro? Man, y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below, man.
When a man is touched inappropriately, and we live in a culture that says men have to man up, and there's this issue that, men should be the strong one, it creates a lot of shame and stigma. A lot of men don't even speak up about being sexually violated or a victim of sexual violence because of the cultural stigma and shame around the message that, oh, if you're going to be sexually assaulted as a man, it's okay because you're a man, or you should have spoken out or gotten tough. I mean, we do see these cases. Men are victims of violence. They do come forward, and when they come forward, they often say, are you sure I can talk about it? Are you sure I can address it? Because they're embarrassed. They don't know what to say. They freeze.
And when you have a case like this, when initially the one who held the live stream online, he was like, what's the big deal? Obviously, it was his sister. What's the big deal? I don't see what the problem is. He walked that back later and said he would never condone anything like that. And a lot of people are like, what's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
And of course they're going to be like that. Because there's a lot of guys out there that are so undisciplined that can't wait for a female to touch them because they don't get no play. They're simps and they're suckers, and they will do anything to get the box. They would be all over this chick right now. All over her. like a pack of hyenas. Y'all thirsty hooligans. Nasty. He's not like that. He's not like that.
What's the big deal is somebody touched somebody else without his consent. We have to do a better job of talking about consent, right? This is my body, this is your body. You're not allowed to touch it without my permission. And it's unfortunate that his initial reaction was, what's the big deal? That is, to me, an imprint, a reflection on sort of the cultural stereotypes when it comes to men and women and sexual violence.
And of course you have that double standard there, because people would have been up in arms if it was a female, you know, if she was grabbed in a private area like that.
If she was a female, if that was a female that was grabbed, we're probably going to bring the police in. Here we're talking about it, and I'm glad you're giving people a platform to talk about it. But you're right, the standards are not the same. They're not equal. She might have been, the police might have called, there was an investigation here. It's like, and the poor actor, what did he say? I'm still processing it. He's still in.
Lord knows if that was a girl on the other end of the spectrum. Oh, the Me Too movement is coming out. He's getting a lawsuit sent to him. Oh my gosh. Forget about it. His career's over. Everybody's dropping him. Blase, blase, blah. The list goes on and on and on. On and on and on. We already know. We already know. We already know. We know how it is. We know the differences. It's a double standard. It really is. It really is. And it's because society has really allowed it to be a double standard. But this is actually wild behavior out here in these streets, man. Wild.
In shock. He froze. And he might have to suffer the ramifications because it went so public. I mean, listen, the aftermath of sexual violence is the same for men and women. PTSD, anxiety, depression, avoiding places, flashbacks, nightmares. Can you imagine having to live with a lifetime of that? If you're a man, it doesn't matter.
And do we think the definition matches the term? I think a lot of people lose it there, because if you just touch someone, then you say that's sexual assault.
Right.
And I said just, but if you touch someone, they'll say that's sexual assault. When I think of sexual assault, and when many of us think of sexual assault, and you hear it, you think of rape or something like that, not touching someone. Do you think that's part of the problem?
It is, and this is an opportunity to continue to educate people about sexual assault. It's a spectrum. It starts with touching, it ends at rape, and anybody can be a victim of sexual assault. Sexual violence is an act that is performed without your consent.
And
ask me first. Don't just touch me. Don't just rub my body. Nah, ask me. Ask me. Shoot. What you doing? Get your hands off me, woman. Get your hands off me, man. That's for the ladies, obviously, not me personally, but y'all know what I mean. Wild behavior out here in these streets, though, man. For real. For real. He shout outs to him for, keeping it professional. He did not overreact. And shoot. He played it really, really smooth, honestly. He played it really, really smooth. So shout outs to him for doing that. They got to get that girl in order. They got to get her in order. I don't think he's going to press charges, obviously, because men usually don't do it. They usually don't do it. He's not going to do any of that to her. I don't think he's going to try to cancel her, have her never, ever be able to get another deal or another job ever again. He's probably not gonna do that to her. He's probably not. And that's just the honest truth. But that's what they do to men. That's what they do to men. Because we gotta pay the consequences for this type of action. Let's continue, man.
Is it part of our problem as men who say, look, you should be able to handle that, you know, chin up?
It is the cultural stereotype of masculinity and what we call toxic masculinity.
Fathers and mothers have this conversation with their daughters. Do you think it's something that now should include their sons?
It should have included their sons long ago.
But we know historically it has not.
It hasn't, and it continues to not. But we've got to talk to girls, just as we talk to girls about taking care of their bodies and protecting their bodies, we have to talk to boys about the same thing, because by and large, it's happening.
Now, if you're caught in a situation like this, child, that we saw Michael Rainey in this incident, how would you handle that if you were Michael Rainey?
I think he handled it the best he can, which is being forthcoming.
Once you have your bearings, put it that way, and you're not shocked anymore.
Right.
That person is still there, still being aggressive. How would you handle that?
Oh, to say no, you mean, in that moment? You know, he froze. It's a trauma response. That's what his limbic system went into. He didn't do anything wrong. He did come back and say, look, it's wrong. I'm not sure if he could have done anything more than he did. He was just shocked. And we see that very often. There's one other point I want to make, and people get so confused about this. Look, sexual violence also creates sexual arousal. That doesn't mean you wanted it. It means your body says, oh, I'm aroused. And it gets very confusing for men who may get aroused because they've been sexually violated. Even for women, we see that. So we've got to do a better job of just educating our public that just because you were sexually aroused or you froze and you didn't do anything doesn't mean that was consent.
All right, Chow Win, thank you for joining.
Shout out to that, man. Let me know y'all thoughts about this in the comments below. I completely agree. This was outrageous behavior. She should be held accountable, but is she going to be? Probably not. Probably not. But shout outs to Michael. He played it cool. Until next time, peace.